Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. The Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 180, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with my fellow loser, Brian Hall.
Loser Club forever.
Losers forever. We're such
Losers forever.
We're such losers. There's only two of us.
Yes, yeah, but that means that's like we're legit.
We're.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
All these other poser losers.
That's we're too legit.
Too legit to quit.
That's true.
Hey.
I'm not going to do what we did last time, where we just take this hard left into.
Start talking about Hammer.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
And like the fact that he did the song for the Addams Family Values.
I had forgotten about that until literally just the second.
The Addams Family Groove, I think it was.
Yeah. Well, do you remember Hammerman?
Yes, the Saturday morning cartoon starring Hammer. Didn't he have magical shoes?
He had the magical shoes, and then he put on the magical shoes, and then I mean, it's if you watch the intro, it's like 2 minutes of just solid exposition to explain the premise of the stupid show.
What the heck you're about to watch?
Yeah.
You know, I was just saying to someone recently, because it seems styles return cyclically. So we had like 70s, sort of bell-bottom-ish things at the bottom or the beginning of the 2000s and 80s and 90s stuff. I would love for Hammer Pants to come back. I am all for this.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
I think Hammer would love for Hammer Pants to come back.
Yeah, I just think it'd be so great to wear like Zubas or whatever they're called again to work and just really kick back.
There was a minute from the latter part of 1990 to the early part of 1991 where Hammer was
where that was all right.
Yeah. Hammer was astride this earth like a conquering hero.
Yeah,
people are talking about him in Saudi Arabia. Think about that.
He was a phenomenon. I mean, that was one of the first CDs I ever owned.
Yeah, for a lot of us. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway. Also, Brian, here's another thing that happened to me this past week. You might remember I mentioned The Fanatic, the movie The Fanatic.
Yes. Yeah, right.
I was one of 5 people who liked that movie.
And because of that, let's remind people what it is. That's the Fred Durst directed movie about John Travolta being obsessed with a celebrity, right?
Played by Devon Sawa.
Right.
So I gave it a positive review, and I put that out on Twitter. And then Devon Sawa tweets at me.
Yeah, right.
and he says, "You're invited to my birthday."
Which that's so great.
So the funny thing is, I'm like, that's funny, and then so I respond to him. I'm like, "Hey, I'm in." And then he responds to me, and he's like, "Hey, on your way, pick up the guy from the Wall Street Journal too, because I guess he gave it a good review also."
Okay.
So then I'm like, "Yeah, hey, I'll get him on the way, and I'll stop at 7-Eleven and get some ice."
That's pretty good.
And so we got this interaction going, and then he like follows me on Twitter.
Oh, really? Oh, that's I know I rail on Twitter a lot, but that's like what Twitter's supposed to be.
Well, that's the funny thing, because that moment happens, and I'm like, I lead an interesting life sometimes.
Right. Well, you know what? I mean, it's really fun for you, and then for us to enjoy that through you. But like, how great for him! Like, he gets to. That sucks. Like, he worked on something, I'm sure, pretty hard. Feels good about it, and then it seems like with Rotten Tomatoes and all these things, and I don't mean this as an attack on Rotten Tomatoes, but there becomes one singular response to a thing.
Yes.
And through Twitter, he gets to hear many voices and hear like, no, there were people that like this and are telling people like, no, it is what it is, but it's enjoyable for what it is. And that's really positive for him to get to not only hear that, but to let you know that he appreciates it.
And it's funny because my review, I actually specifically mentioned Devon Sawa. I was like, man, he's like really good in this. He's seeing him grown up now, and he's got a few more wrinkles on his face. He's got more character. I was like, man, I'm glad I said something nice about him,
Right.
So that's one of those things where I'm like, man, 20 years ago, Zachy would be kind of amused by this,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you've had a lot of like fun, interesting interactions with some pretty fascinating people.
Well, and in fact, Travolta himself shared my review on Instagram.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was like, thanks, Aki-san. I was like, wow, look at that. Vinnie Barbarino. Not up your nose with the rubber hose, John Travolta.
Well, usually this time we talk about movies that we've seen recently, and sticking with the nostalgia, I watched a movie from 2007 that I don't think I've seen since 2007. I watched There Will Be Blood. When was the last time you watched that?
In 2007, yep.
Yeah. And, it was kind of a funny story because after seeing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really wanted to revisit Inglourious Basterds because I remembered that I really liked that movie, but I don't think I've seen that since it came out.
Right.
But what's kept me at bay with it is that it's like 2.5 hours. And I, tend to start movies. If I'm going to watch a movie at night, it's like 9. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. So I keep kicking the can down the road. I'll get to it. And then one night it's 10 p.m. and I'm flipping channels and There Will Be Blood starts. And the thing is if you remember, the opening 15 minutes is completely without dialogue, right?
Right.
We're just seeing Daniel Day-Lewis as this prospector, in the process of what he's doing. And I was like, I remember that. I kind of want to see what it was and see what that's like. And next thing I know, a movie that is 20 minutes longer than Inglourious Basterds has passed. I watched the entire thing.
It drank your milkshake.
It did drink my milkshake. And it was funny because when it was over, I was thinking it's interesting to visit a prestige picture years later. Because when it comes out, everyone gets super hyped about it, and you got to see this, and it's going to win all the awards. But when you don't have the immediacy of that with a prestige movie, like, does it actually hold up? Like 10 years later, like, would we highly value it as highly, after the buzz? And I did look at it slightly differently. It felt a little formless in a way that I found somewhat surprising. But then, upon further thought, I mean, that's what most of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies are, right? I mean, Inherent Vice to a point where I can't believe I watched the whole thing, to be honest.
Right.
But also, I mean, even Boogie Nights, they're sort of sprawling, and it's more about the moment to moment and experiencing life with these characters, and even like Punch Drunk Love to a degree, and all those things. But as I said, formless as it was, what it has in spades is it is riveting. I mean, it's a riveting movie. Like, I mean, at 10 at night, I ended up watching a 2-hour, 40-minute movie, and I couldn't stop. So I do think it's really, really expertly done, and I think the performances are really great. And it was also interesting because I was just in Oklahoma visiting my family, and we went on this tour of downtown Tulsa where we learned about sort of the oil boom and all the tycoons that passed through Tulsa and what that business, the trade was like back then, whatever you want to call it. And having that new information totally added to how I viewed the Daniel Plainview character.
Okay.
Because I think when I didn't know a whole lot, I was like, oh yeah, he's this booming presence, and this is what these guys are probably like. But I saw now that he wasn't an oil tycoon. Like, he was sort of small potatoes next to Standard Oil, and he's a really huge. He looms large in this small town, but when he stands next to the Standard Oil people, he's kind of humiliated. And so there was just all this texture to it that I don't think I had when I watched it the first time. And yeah, it's a really engaging movie that I think definitely holds up. So it was really fun to revisit, kind of surprising to revisit.
Yeah, it's I think if nothing else, watch it for Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And there's another thing too. I remember people were somehow I drink your milkshake became a nationwide catchphrase.
Right.
And I remember a lot of impersonations of him and wondering if maybe he's going a little big.
Sure.
But it kind of works. I don't think so. I mean, if anyone's going big, Paul Dano's going big in that movie.
Yes, I agree.
It becomes a little shrill, even though that's the point, I think. But
yeah, and I mean, I think Daniel Day-Lewis, just any performance that he gives, there's such complexity woven into it.
Yeah, and just this interesting darkness, the relationship between him and his son. And,
yes.
It's just staggering to look at. I mean, just the scope, even on your television. I really enjoyed checking it out again.
Well, there we go. Brian's blast from the past. There Will Be Blood. Check that out. I just saw something slightly newer. It just dropped on Hulu a couple days ago. It is a documentary called Untouchable, and it is about the Harvey Weinstein saga, the rise and fall of this disgusting ghoul.
Right.
And
it's a good word.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no better word to sum up what he did.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because I feel like in the last several months there's been sort of a backlash towards the Me Too movement. Like like Chappelle just dropped a stand-up special, and I love Chappelle, but I feel like he's taken a really misguided stance here, where he's like, these women are just trying to bring. Did you watch it? Did you watch the new special? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He has the Me Too material where I was like, yeah.
Yeah, there were that amongst some other things. I mean, there are things I like when people push back in sort of a satirical way that makes us laugh at ourselves. And I feel like he does that from time to time, but there were a few too many things that I just flat out didn't agree with, that I was like, I don't really know if you're helping anything.
It's punching down, right?
Yeah, yes.
Chappelle has this bit where he's talking about the Michael Jackson documentary.
That was what I was thinking of in particular.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I was like, I can appreciate shock humor.
Yes.
And there's definitely, like, you laugh uncomfortably just by the sheer audacity of what's being said, right? Yes. But the serious side is like, you're giving ammunition. Like, even if he doesn't believe what he's saying, he's giving ammunition to all the people who are still defending Michael Jackson. That, and I also feel like he sort of just starts making light of child abuse, just in general. And that was where I was like, okay, man, you've completely lost me. Like, you can say something to shock me, and I'll uncomfortably laugh, and we can move on. But some things just, unless you have some sort of angle, and I don't believe he did. He was just saying things that I thought were just flat out. Would hurt. And the corollary I would draw, right, and this is not to lump in Chappelle with Harvey Weinstein, but I think the corollary is what we saw in Chappelle's stand-up is he's like, Kevin Hart is a good guy, and people who said something are blah, blah, blah. Louis C.K. is a good guy, and people said something, blah, 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 right? So success protects success, right? Privilege protects privilege, right?
Yeah. And so with this documentary, I mean, what do they get into? Is that what sort of the theme of the film is? Or
I mean, you and I have talked about the Weinstein scandal. I'm fairly certain a couple of years ago in depth, but this brought it all bubbling back, where you're like, this monster was not merely a creature of sadistic appetites, right? He got off on using his power as a sexual weapon, right?
Right.
It isn't just that. It's the fact that an entire community, the film community, knowingly turned a blind eye. And there's no way around that. People knew what was happening, and people in the know said, shut your mouth.
Right.
Or you will suffer.
You're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a moment in there which is very telling, right? Where Harvey Weinstein gets into a confrontation with a female reporter at an event. Okay, and this is not a he wasn't propositioning her or anything like that. She needed a quote from him. She got a quote, and then he's like, "You can't use that quote. Give me your recorder." And she's like, screw you, and so she's having this exchange, and her fellow reporter who she was there with kind of intercedes and is like, hey, leave her alone, like take it easy, she's with me, and then the reporter is like, the male reporter is like, you need to apologize to her, you can't talk to her that way. He was using really horrible language. And she's kind of like, I don't need an apology, let's just get out of here, right? And Weinstein says into this guy's recorder, he says, I'm the effing sheriff of this shit ass effing town. Which, first of all, that's just like bad grammar because shit ass, right?
Yeah.
What are you in like second grade, right?
Yeah.
You're a shit ass cock poop. You know, that's like a
balls for elbows or some stupid. Actually, that wasn't that bad.
That's good. So the point is that he says this on mic, and the reporter makes the point that he could say that because he was that.
Yeah.
You know, and I've mentioned this before. Like you and I, we grew up. We were film buffs in the 90s. Mm-hmm. You knew who Harvey Weinstein was.
Yep.
I knew who Harvey Weinstein was. To some extent, I knew he was like a skeezy guy.
Me too. I knew that was like that's just Harvey kind of a mentality. I didn't know to what degree, but I did know that like that's how he is, and wouldn't want to be near that guy.
Right. So this is my point. How does a teenager know that unless it's right? Like my oldest is going to be 13 in January. That would be like him being like, "Oh yeah, you know Harvey. You know what they say about Harvey Weinstein." I'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so what's sort of the angle of the documentary? I mean, do they talk to people who've encountered him, or
Yes.
is there sort of a how did this happen, or is there?
Yes. So this is the most important thing. It does not talk to Harvey Weinstein and give us his perspective because F that guy.
Yeah.
Right?
We've got enough of him on the record.
On the record.
Apparently.
So the film is littered with, you know, recordings, audio recordings of him talking about himself and his sort of rise and whatever. But it's talking to obviously his victims, many of whom go on the record, right? And you got some famous people in there. Rosanna Arquette is front and center, and then a lot of people who we don't know or aren't as familiar with, but they're just describing their stories in really sort of horrifying detail. I mean, I think trigger warnings are appropriate, you know, because it'll make your skin crawl, right?
Yeah,
and it's you know, he is a repugnant person,
right?
And you know, it's funny because early in, I mean, not funny, but early in the film, one of his victims recounts first encountering him, and she's like, he's not the type of person I found attractive, but there was like he had like this power of personality, you know.
Sure.
And that was very charismatic. And I was telling my wife, I was like, you know, when you think about it, like that right there says something about the kind of person he might have been.
What do you mean?
Do you see what I'm saying? Like he had a charisma that people found magnetic. Well, here's an idea. Don't be a friggin' sociopath.
right.
And people will be drawn to you, right?
Sort of like a George Clooney. Right? He seems, I mean, obviously, I realize that's somewhat apples and oranges in some arenas, but you know what I'm saying? Where he just seems like a guy that he's a magnet.
Yes.
And people are just drawn to this person, but he uses all of that attention and all of the goodwill he garners just from his personality for positive things.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like here's an example. Harvey Weinstein, physically, it resembles, you know, like James Gandolfini, right?
Sure.
But what do people say about James Gandolfini? He was a beautiful man.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because of his personality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas this guy, he's hideous because of who he is on the inside. Mm-hmm. You know. Mm-hmm. So the film, I highly, highly recommend it. I think it is absolutely worth watching, despite how uncomfortable it is. Because it is necessary. Like we say, why Me Too? This is why. Because it's not just Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
And I think that's a really important thing to put back out into the world, is that this conversation is not over. It cannot stop because Harvey Weinstein is one facet of it, but it trickles into every other industry.
Right. And we can't think that it's over just because one of the larger dominoes was knocked over. Like there's many more dominoes to go.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So with that, Brian, let's take another hard left, because there is no good way to segue out of that
Oh, that swamp.
swamp, exactly. So instead, I'm going to jump to a couple listener letters that we got.
Oh, let's do it. I love these.
So we got another letter from Muddy. He's listening to us from the UK, and he says, "Just wanted to congratulate you and Brian on pulling off a very engaging commentary on the Karate Kid. This is, by the way, Brian, a commentary that it is the gift that keeps giving."
This is the one I've received the most personal feedback on from people. People telling me how much they enjoyed it, and I shared that with you, and we were both like, "Wow, I don't know what it was about this one or what we did wrong on all the others." Jokingly, but it's been really, really wonderful to hear all of this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, he says here it was worth the wait, and you definitely got the cogs turning when it comes to how the audience views Daniel and Johnny. It sparked a lively, quote, debate between my wife and myself. Honestly, we haven't argued this much since we took a pointless deep dive into the principles of time travel in movies. And I gotta say, for one of my goals when I started doing this show was I wanted to cause marital strife.
That was in our proposal. For
It was right there. It was in the bullet points. It was number 3.5 subsection
marital
B.
strife for listeners.
Yeah. So I gotta say I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm gleeful by that. He goes on to say, by the way, I'm now really looking forward to your proposed remake of Flight of the Navigator, starring 40-something Zaki Hassan. Zaki flying around in spaceship to a Beach Boys song with Brian Hall voicing the alien spaceship.
I would love that.
I think we should crowdfund that.
Yeah, compliance, Zaki. What do you mean, dude?
Oh goodness, yeah. Well. Hey, maybe again we've talked about it's like, oh, could we do a commentary on that? And I think we've.
I bet we probably could. Yeah.
Well, just knowing your affinity for that movie, I would just love to sit back and listen to you wax nostalgic about it.
It'd be fun to revisit it.
Well, put a pin in that one. We'll come back to it.
Thanks for the idea.
Yeah. This is from Tim Hansen, and Tim says, just listened to the latest podcast and wanted to let you and Brian know that Lucy in the Sky is one of my movies. So Tim is a visual effects artist.
Yeah.
He says, I was in
Which
charge.
I thought that was awesome. I'm very much looking forward to that movie. I was very excited to read that.
Yeah, I was. As soon as he said that, I was like, "Did we say anything bad? Did we say anything bad? Did we say anything bad?" I was like, "I think we're good."
Not for me. It's one of my most anticipated. I think.
Yeah, for both of us. Yeah. He says, "I was in charge of CG for that film, so be kind when talking about the effects." Yeah, Brian. Why don't you curb your instinct to shit over everything, Brian? Brian James Hall, not me. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I see no reason to think that we won't find it entirely enjoyable.
Yeah. So, well, congrats to Tim. And I also wanted to add, Tim has written in before and talked about CGI in its defense because that's the field he works in, and sort of clarified that, you can't just like poo on just all CGI in general. Like there's a lot that goes into it, and there's creative decisions made, and sometimes people don't best utilize it, but it's not necessarily the artist's fault. And I honestly have thought about this a lot, and I want to thank Tim for bringing that up because it's easy to just have a broad stroke blame game sort of thing going on. And so even as I was watching it, which we'll get into, some of the CGI I wasn't crazy about, it's not that the CGI was bad per se, it's that I don't know that the creative decisions at play were always the best.
Yeah.
And it's helped me. I want to be more clear in the way that I critique and approach thoughts about certain things. So it's helped me to be. I want to be more nuanced and appreciate the work and the artists that are going into all these things. There's a lot of decisions by a lot of people being made. So I appreciate Tim bringing that to my attention.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I mean, it's like anything, right? Like, it's just like practical effects. There's good practical effects. There's bad practical effects.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I've worked with a bunch of directors in the past, and there are movies that get pooped on a lot. And I was speaking with one of them, and he went on to tell me about all the problems he had with the studio and all the decisions he hated making. And it's got to be tough for him and for others to have their movie criticized about things that they're like, yeah, no, I know, I agree with you. So it's, I mean, it doesn't mean that we can't still have opinions about the finished product, because the finished product is what it is. But it's interesting to think about the fact that, these people might agree with us on some fronts. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen sometimes.
And by the way, I want to mention about Tim. I don't think I've ever told this on the show. So I met Tim for the first time more than 25 years ago.
Wow.
When I first moved back to the States from Saudi Arabia, I lived very briefly in Orland Park, Illinois, with my uncle. So before my family had bought a house, for about 6 months we were staying in Orland Park, and so I went to a junior high called Jurling Junior High, and going to that school was and remains one of the worst experiences in my life. It was horrible. However, Tim is someone who I became friends with very, very early in my time there, and we would walk back from school together, and we'd talk, and we had similar interests. And he was one of the few bright spots, and I lost touch with him. And then just randomly, I reached out on social media, and I happened to find him. And I was like, "Did you happen to go to Jurling Junior High?" Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Holy crap!" And that's how we reconnected. And he's been doing amazing stuff, working as a visual effects artist, and it's just kind of amazing. And I'm so happy for the success he's had. And he's someone who, like, that moment of really a miserable time of my life, he was one of the only bright spots.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's really nice. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. It's weird because, like, now we're talking about a film, about, like, adults looking back on their middle school years and
yeah, that's right.
The friendships that they had. It's just very appropriate. So thank you, Tim, for that, and thank you, hopefully, for the amazing special effects that you'll be delivering to the world shortly.
Yeah.
With that in mind, why don't we take a little break and ponder all of this? Ponder the meaning of friendship while you listen to this. And we're back, and we got some trailers, Brian.
Yes, we do.
So right up top, we got a brand new trailer for The Joker, or I've been calling it The Joker. It's actually just Joker.
Joker.
Because we don't do definite articles in 2019.
It's cleaner that way.
It's cleaner. So this is the Todd Phillips movie that you may recall. I said very definitively about 2 years ago, this movie will never be made.
Right. I mean, we should have kept a list of all the movies you thought would never be made.
I remember saying that about the sequel to Prometheus.
Yeah.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, there is no movie called Prometheus 2, so I am still right.
Oh well. Put it that way.
Yeah, see? I reject your objective reality and substitute my own. No, but it is coming out, and it just debuted at, like, the Venice Film Festival over the weekend.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Right, and the reaction has been pretty good from what I'm seeing. I mean, it seems like the reviews are sort of spanning the polls.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way: the reviews are either Joaquin Phoenix saved my life or Joaquin Phoenix killed my dog. I don't see anything in the middle. Right?
Yeah. To me, it seems like at first it was all immediate praise.
Yes,
and then there was taking a step back and wondering what it all means.
Yes. So with that in mind, let's play some of the audio from the new final trailer.
Arthur, I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
Okay, so, I guess my question to you, Brian, is where were you at with this movie like a month ago, and where are you at now with A, the reviews, and B, this new trailer?
I think we have talked about it on the show. I think we're intrigued by the idea of sort of a thoughtful Joker movie.
Yes.
You know, like a movie that looks like it's aiming for something entirely different, like in a whole other mode. I mean, it's no secret that I think Todd Phillips is trying to emulate like 70s Scorsese here. And that's interesting. I think you and I had both vocalized that we were a little concerned just personally about watching a movie about an unpleasant person doing unpleasant things for 2 hours, if that would even be entertaining or sort of leave with like an awful feeling in your stomach.
Yes.
And I'd say it remains the same. I think the footage looks awesome. Like it looks like a really beautifully realized movie. The performance looks really interesting. I think as opposed to the first trailer felt sort of like a sizzle reel, like, yeah, wait till you get a load of this, you know, kind of thing. But
Right.
I just ruined the quote. Wait till you get a load of me. And the second Joker trailer gives us a little bit more of the plot, where it looks like some downtrodden guy finds a way to get attention and get followers, and they do his miserable bidding, kind of a thing. And it continues to look intriguing to me, and it looks like it's going to be a really visually interesting movie and quite a ride. But it does look unpleasant.
Yes.
I
Right.
tend to, just my personal flavor is sometimes I can appreciate an unpleasant movie, but I don't enjoy unpleasant feelings.
Right. I totally agree.
So I don't know. We'll see. Like I try not to get too into the social things sometimes, but it's on the show, but it's hard to avoid with this one, just when there's so much unpleasantness going on with people terrorizing others.
Yes.
You know, just every week, sometimes multiple times a week. It's like, do I want to watch a person terrorizing people? Actually, I was just watching Terminator 3. Maybe we'll get into this a little bit more later. But there's like a scene where in an office building where people are being shot at. Mm-hmm. And I doubt I had the same reaction in 2003 that I did this week when I watched it. I was like, I just don't like this imagery.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
things have sort of changed. And so I just sort of wonder about watching someone open fire on a crowd. That just currently doesn't feel entertaining to me, I guess. But I'm definitely going to go into it knowing that it's going to be sort of a gritty, grimy movie, and I'm looking to appreciate the artistry of it. But we'll see how I ultimately feel walking out of it. I don't know about you.
I am exactly where you just laid out, where you drew the map. That's where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued, but I don't know that I'm excited. I'm not making any kind of judgment until I watch it, because I feel like I think I posted this on Twitter earlier this week. I'm like, I need to mute the word Joker from my timeline because
Yeah.
the internet it's already insufferable about this movie, and I can't even imagine what it's going to be like the week before and the week after. Right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's digging in their heels. You know what I mean? Like, it's you know, everyone's got, like, you know, it's like it's a DC movie, and so you've got, like, the people who are like, oh, we have to defend DC, and then you've got, you know, and then people who have, you know, everyone's got their hot takes, right?
Yes.
And it's just, it's, you know, we live in a we live in a like and retweet centric world now. Mm-hmm. Where the more out there your take is, whatever that is. Like, that's why there's no middle ground between saved my life, killed my dog. Mm-hmm. There's you know, and I look at this and you know, I can see a scenario where I appreciate it, but don't necessarily like it.
Yeah, even again, this is all my reaction to the trailer.
Yes.
I have not seen this movie, so I you know, like you say, I'll reserve, you know, my take for that. But
Correct.
I do wonder if, you know, if Batman was in this movie, and then maybe this, you know, there's some sort of resolution to it, like all this nastiness, but then like good triumphs, like maybe you could sort of feel good about it. But I just imagine this movie's going to end with him somehow succeeding, and how do we feel about that?
You're right.
You know, so I don't know. I know the script leaked and people have reactions to it, but I stay away from all that stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it is kind of funny how this role has become this talisman of like, like Joaquin Phoenix has this interview and he's like, I felt myself growing more mad every day as I was playing this role, and I can hear the screams of the damned and all this, and and Jared Leto is doing that shit too. Remember,
he's been a total punk.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's
completely unnecessary, tormenting his castmates like it's just the role inhabiting me,
Yeah, and I saw a guy on Twitter who's like, I think Cesar Romero and Jack Nicholson probably just were like, hey, I'm just going to laugh a lot,
Yeah,
I'm going to put on white face.
Acting?
Yeah, what a concept, right?
Right.
So we'll see about this one. I'm open. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, me too.
I did see a thing that was very funny, actually, just before I jumped on mic with you, where Seth Meyers was doing one of his closer look things where he's going after Trump, and he played a clip from a Trump speech a couple years ago where he's like, people used to laugh at me, and no one's laughing anymore. And Seth Meyers is like, that sounds like something a supervillain would say. In fact, it's literally a thing a supervillain would say, and he plays that exact clip from the Joker trailer, Okay. So that's where we're at.
Oh man.
We are in that reality where, like, the Penguin becomes mayor of Gotham, and you're like, how the hell did this happen? We're just trying to deal with that,
Oh, speaking of, by the way, I guess this is sort of an opportunity. Real fast, I'll throw a shout out to my cousin Evan, who I know listens to the show, and he's always trying to find video games he thinks I'll like. And I played the Telltale Batman game on PlayStation 4.
Oh, nice.
And I really enjoyed it.
Really?
Yeah, it's more of like a role-playing game where it's less about the action and it's more about, the decisions you make in conversations and how you choose to advance in the story, and whatever choice you make affects the entire outcome moving forward. Like, you could piss off a character and they'll be mad at you for the rest of the game, or you could be nice to them and they might assist you later in the game. And I was really surprised what a strong story it was. It was like a really great Penguin Catwoman story, and when it was, I couldn't get enough of it. I was playing it every night. So I mean, this is for gamers. They're like, yeah, dude, that's like 2000 and late. but hey, I really enjoyed it.
Well, speaking of Telltale, they also did a Back to the Future game.
Yes.
Which I recently purchased. And I have not had a chance to play it, but my kids have been playing it, and they really enjoy it. So.
Oh, good.
Have you played that?
I bought it just because I was starting to get into these kind of role-player games, but I have not. I went to the Batman one first, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Moving on, another trailer that just dropped, and this one kind of... I knew this movie was coming, but I forgot this movie was coming.
Me too. This was a surprise.
Right? So this is Bad Boys for Life. Yeah. All right, let's play some of the audio from this.
All right.
Remember, knock and talk.
Yeah. Knock, knock.
Miami PD, get down! What the hell happened to knock and talk?
Hands behind your head right now.
I got this. I'm gonna penetrate this man's soul with my heart. What? Watch and learn. Sir, I realize that you're scared. Sometimes fear.
How deep you think you got in his soul?
I'm done, Mike. I'm retiring.
Uh-oh, here we go again.
You want your legacy to be muscle shirts and body counts?
Look at this mess. It's carnage.
I didn't do all this.
You didn't shoot anybody?
Well, come on, Cap. You know I shot some people.
Yeah.
So Brian, if you did not know that Michael Bay didn't direct this movie, would you know that Michael Bay didn't direct this movie?
It's impossible to answer that because I know he didn't direct this movie. It did feel like someone doing Michael Bay.
Right, exactly.
But somehow, I don't know what the word is, it did feel smaller. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does.
I don't, because they go for that sort of low angle getting out the car shot, and I was really impressed actually with some of the stunts toward the end where he's jumping off the thing from the helicopter ladder or whatever that was, and there's explosions. But there was something about the scope that felt a little different, and I thought, wow, what is that? Je ne sais quoi. I have no idea.
So this is directed by Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah.
Okay.
So I'm all about Middle Eastern filmmakers making their mark. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
That being said, I mourn the version of this movie that Joe Carnahan did not direct.
Very curious, because apparently it was him and Will Smith that were at odds.
That's correct. So Carnahan retains a screenplay credit.
Okay.
So it's at the very least built on the chassis of whatever he started.
Oh, interesting. So it's not even just a story by credit. I mean, he's still got a screenwriting credit.
A screenplay by, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So now Carnahan has said that like the movie that's being made is not the movie he planned. So we can assume that his fingerprints won't be very much on it. Now that being said, I feel like Bad Boys is a trilogy of movies that really only has about 40 minutes worth of premise.
Yeah, I did look at the premise on the webpage I was on. It was like drug cartel, blah blah blah. I was like,
Yeah. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I remember because I like the first one well enough. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I saw the second one, and I remember that the when it came out, it was summer of 2003, only because I watched it like the week before I got married. So I remember very distinctly watching it, and you know, maybe a quarter of the way through being like, why am I watching this? This is interminable, you know?
Right.
It just will not stop. And, you know, by the end, I don't remember anything about it except that they go to Cuba, I think, and it's a bunch of friggin' bullshit happens. I don't remember. Anyway.
You know what I do remember, which was a great idea, was they had that truck that is pulling all the cars.
Yes,
and then
okay.
they start unloading all the cars at them as they're speeding down the freeway. I was like, that's a great idea.
It's almost like that was the idea they had first. right. And they constructed the entire 2.5 hours or however long that movie is around it.
Yeah.
Right? Compare Bad Boys 1 to Bad Boys 2, and there is Michael Bay's career arc in a microcosm, right? Because, like, the first one was like his first movie. So it's quick and dirty. It's sort of like
under 2 hours.
Under 2 hours. It's contained, you know?
Yeah.
And then the second one is, and the second one was 2003, so it's about 8 years later, is just pure excess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I think about this, to be honest. I love Will Smith, so like his charm is enough to probably get me in the theater.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not anticipating this, but it did feel like a band that you liked from several years ago getting back together, and you know it's not going to be the same, but you're like, oh yeah, all right. Like I can listen to Martin Lawrence and Will Smith clowning on each other for 2 hours and blowing up.
You'd think that, but I thought a few weeks ago that I'd be fine with listening to Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham clown on each other.
Wow, okay, yeah.
And that got old pretty fast, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm not anticipating this in any way, but I don't think I'm going to mind it for like 2 hours. That's my take from the trailer.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
well,
like I said,
I will say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There is something kind of funny. What am I trying to think of? Oh, Dumb and Dumber 2, T.O. There's something funny about seeing them look, their age, which of course they should, but still sort of pulling their like antics, and seeing Joey Pants.
Yes.
Screaming at them. And I was like, has he been screaming at them for 30 years? Like, have they really had this relationship for, like, that guy would be dead.
Well, Will Smith is very well preserved.
Yes.
Martin Lawrence looks his age.
He does, yeah.
Right.
Which, again, there's
nothing wrong with that. But I'm more in awe of Will Smith. Like, like Gemini Man, the trailer for Gemini Man.
Yes.
It's like, look, it's young Will Smith and old Will Smith. I'm like, I don't know. It looks kind of the same to me.
Right.
Am I wrong?
No. But it's funny because in this one, too, you can see that they felt the need to insert like some young people for them to play off of. I guess Vanessa Hudgens is one of them.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't even recognize her in the trailer, but, I guess that makes sense, right? Because they have to be like we're the old school, bumping against the new school.
Yes.
It's kind of inevitable, probably.
So this one comes out in January of next year.
That surprised me.
Well, it does and it doesn't, honestly, because the way, and we'll talk about this in just a second in terms of how summer season is nowadays. January is when you want to put out a movie like this because it's out of the way of everything else.
Yeah, and it has a chance to succeed.
Yes.
For sure. But it's just surprising to see. I mean, it's like, January 17th, this Will Smith movie coming out. It's like, oh, that just doesn't feel like
Yes.
something I'm used to yet.
Well, that's where we're at in 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
That's just how things go. So we're going to do a brief rundown of summer movie season, but before we do that, I hear some music, Brian. So I think we'll do some Star Wars news before. All right, what do you got, Brian?
Well, we've heard some more from J.J. Abrams, and a lot of people have feelings after The Last Jedi, and I've expressed similar feelings, actually, in a way where I've wondered if it was wise to create a trilogy where you make one movie with a filmmaker, and then you hand it off to another filmmaker, and then you hand the next one off to another filmmaker. It seemed to me, why not have some sort of arc in mind? And maybe they do. Maybe they're being a little bit coy and trying to give, more credit to the filmmakers. But anyway, with all that in mind, some people have wondered, now that JJ has returned, what are his feelings having the second film go in some other filmmaker's, fancy direction? How does he feel coming back? Did it derail what he had in mind? And apparently he says, nah, it's fine.
Well, Brian, what's the actual quote?
Well, the quote says,
This is important.
this is the quote. JJ says, the story that we're telling, the story that we started to conceive when we did The Force Awakens, was allowed to continue. Episode 8 didn't really derail anything that we were thinking about.
Okay, let's play that back. Didn't really derail.
And I think he flinched, like his eye twitched when he said didn't really.
Yeah, I mean, here's my point. That right there, the word really, it's going to be unpacked and analyzed like it's the goddamn Zapruder film.
Which is funny, I'll admit, because I was like, all right. I didn't give much thought to it.
But am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
Probably not. Probably not.
Because come on, the word really changes everything, right?
Yes. Yeah. I honestly, I didn't give too much thought to this personally, but
Okay,
I understand what you're saying, because what he's saying is it didn't derail anything we were thinking, or, well, yeah, there was some things that we had to sort of retrofit now because of this. Really could imply that.
Yeah, so the clean way you say it is, no, everything we planned is still going.
Yes.
Right? Right, it's like, hey, does this dress make me look fat? No. Versus, not really.
Doesn't really. That's, okay. Fair. Yeah, hey. Point, Hassan.
Right. Now, my understanding is that what he's saying, I think he means what he says. Like, I don't think there is any drastic reset that was needed. But let's be clear. I'm fairly certain that Luke Skywalker disappearing was not part of JJ's calculus for Episode 2.
Sure.
I'm fairly certain of that.
I hope someday, in this day and age where we tend to get these, I hope we get the full story sometime.
Oh.
I want to know exactly what George Lucas had in mind, because he did have
Something.
these 3 movies outlined, which they...
Yeah, it was all about
dismissed.
the history of the midichlorians, remember?
Yeah.
It was going to be called
but I
Episode
really
7.
Know. Like, I want
it was
to know
going to be
what the
called
arc was.
Episode 7, Box Office Poison.
Still, I'm curious. I'm
Yes.
curious what he saw. I mean, he told 6 out of 9 of the stories. I am curious how he saw this ending.
Yes.
But also, I would like to know sort of the. I'd love there to be like a great book about this, the making of this trilogy down the line.
Yeah,
someday.
kind of like the ones that we have right now, like for the original trilogy.
Exactly,
by
which are great.
By who wrote them? I forget.
Rinsler, is it?
Rinsler wrote them. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
And he did a similar book about Indiana Jones. Yeah, I think clearly, there's sort of like CYA going on right now because they really need to make sure they stick the landing with Episode 9. And now, if I were to guess, I don't think Episode 9 is going to undo anything that Episode 7 did.
Right.
Right? I mean, I can't imagine.
No, I was just laughing thinking about that meme I sent you off air.
Yeah.
It's J.J. Abrams as Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he is swapping, where Indy is swapping the idol for the bag of sand.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams is swapping Snoke's head for the Emperor's head.
Right.
So, yeah.
I will say this. I'm trying very hard. Like, we as adults, as grown-up men who maybe are way too invested in this, we're looking at it one way.
Yeah.
But the kids who are just watching these movies as they come are looking at them a different way.
Sure.
The kids are just like, oh, okay, they're doing that now.
Yeah.
And, you know, to some extent, that's what it was like watching the original trilogy when it was coming out.
Sure.
So I try very hard to keep that perspective.
Yeah. I think now I have my... It was hard not to be super invested in this when Force Awakens came out because it was really exciting, and this is one of those things that we love since we were kids, and it is forever embedded in us. So it was an exciting prospect. And now that these two movies have come out, and I've like kind of realized my feelings about them, and I've come to a like, oh, so this is what this trilogy will mean for me.
Yeah, right.
I'm comfortable with whatever it turns out to be.
With whatever, right.
And I'm happy that it means something else to other, to a younger generation.
And
so
you know,
Brian,
I
I don't really.
No, let me make a corollary here because I think there's a connection. Earlier this week, I was watching a piece of the Phantom Menace with my kids, and I tweeted. This is just like a random tweet. It was just like I was watching the movie and I had this thought, and I tweeted something to the effect of, this is not a new thought, but Qui-Gon Jinn should not have existed as he exists in the movie, because so much of what he does takes away agency from Obi-Wan.
Which I remember you brought up during our Phantom Menace commentary track, and I thought I totally saw it while we were watching the movie.
Not a new observation by me or anyone. I mean, I think I'm not the first person who's had that thought, right? Mm-hmm. Now, that wasn't me being like Qui-Gon Jinn sucks or anything like that. It was just me being like, look, knowing where we have to end up, storytelling utility says there is a better way to get there.
Yeah.
Now, I just put this out there into the ether, and Twitter being Twitter, people started responding. Some people are like, yay, some people are like, nay. But here's the interesting thing, and this is not me. I'm not dogging on people who disagreed with me very vociferously, who are like, no, Qui-Gon Jinn is my favorite character in all of Star Wars. The Phantom Menace is the first Star Wars I saw. I love Qui-Gon Jinn. I cried when he died. And so I look at that and I'm like, loser. No, I'm just kidding. Nerd. No, I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? That's my point. I'm like, I didn't look at it that way because I went in with my conception, right?
Yes.
And so I'm looking at it like, yeah, but we got to end up here.
Mm-hmm.
But they're looking at it like, well, we don't know where we're ending up. We're just going on this ride.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that's entirely valid.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
You're not wrong for feeling that way. You're not wrong for having that affinity. And, you try to explain. Because it's funny because I'm like, yeah, but, you don't need Qui-Gon because you just have Obi-Wan do this, that, and the other thing. It's like, yeah, but then who is Obi-Wan going to learn about Anakin from? And I'm like, well, nobody. He'll just find Anakin himself. Yeah, but then what will Qui-Gon do? And I'm like, yeah, you don't need Qui-Gon. And, it's
right.
like they're locked in. Well, no, but you got to have Qui-Gon because he's Qui-Gon.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it like, yeah, but the character is a retcon. The character doesn't need to exist, but that's me with my concept of the original trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my point with all of this is like, my opinion doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a guy, right?
I'm just a caveman.
I'm just a simple caveman.
Yeah.
It's like people love Qui-Gon Jinn, and that's awesome, right? Hell, I love Qui-Gon Jinn. That's kind of my
too.
Right.
He's cool.
He's a cool character. That's and it's very. Again, I'm trying to view this from a positive angle rather than people just suck, and Twitter does suck.
But I appreciate what you're saying, and I agree with you.
Well, there we go then. We should just end the show right now. It doesn't get any better than that for me.
It's been a 180 episode journey just to get Brian to say that towards Zachy.
Now I can lie down and die like Walter White at the end of Breaking Bad. Do we have any other Star Wars news, by the way?
Yeah, well, there was, I guess Oscar Isaac had a little blurb about Poe, and I guess it was the same show, Entertainment Tonight Canada, I guess. And he was talking about what's in store for his character in the last chapter. And he says, particularly with Poe, I think people will be surprised to see that he has a bit more of an ambiguous past. He's not just kind of that squeaky clean flyboy. So I guess we're going to get a little bit of backstory on Poe.
So he was a gigolo.
Say there's no
That's what we're
time
gonna
like
find.
the present.
That's what we're going to find out. He was a gigolo.
He's a jiggle. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it rhymes.
Poe the Gigolo.
Yeah. But
That's a Disney Plus series coming up. Well, that might be Hulu. That might be Hulu, that one.
yeah. Yeah, right. So, I mean, kind of a, like, yeah, okay. Like, not a whole lot there. But,
Yeah.
you know. And I feel like maybe we should have gotten a little bit more of this earlier.
That's my point. I feel like, and I put the blame. And honestly, people love to shovel the blame on Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson played the ball where he was dealt. So I place the blame on J.J. Abrams because if you're actually objective about it, The Force Awakens is like half a movie.
I can't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think
Again.
so. And especially,
That's what this has all been coming down to.
I mean, famously, Poe was supposed to die.
Yes.
In Force Awakens, and Oscar Isaac was like, proposal, J.J. Abrams. What if he didn't? And Abrams was like, I love it. And I don't know if it happened so close to production that they didn't figure out how to better integrate him into the story. But he feels a little thin in that movie.
Yes.
And I think we've been paying for it ever since in some ways. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. Last Jedi kind of says he's this overly ambitious guy to a fault.
Yes. No.
So I feel like we have a bit of his personality.
Honestly, Last Jedi did most of the work.
For Poe, yeah.
Because if you watch The Force Awakens, you know one thing about Poe, and what is that, Brian?
That's one hell of a pilot.
That's literally it.
Right.
That's the only thing we know about him.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. I will say this: there is a comic book series about Poe. It's called Poe Dameron, and it's been running for a while. It's been a monthly series, and it's not a mini series. It's like an ongoing series.
Yeah.
And it's really good. I would highly recommend that to you and to anyone who's interested in the backstory for the character, because all that crap is canon anyway, right?
Yeah.
Worth checking out.
So yeah, there we go. Star Wars news.
It's it sort of the comic book is doing for Poe what the original Marvel comics and the Marvel Star Wars comics in the 80s did for Lando.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, the comic books continued on. Mm-hmm. So they filled in here's all the adventures between movies. So Han Solo was off the boards. So Lando was part of the cast. Mm-hmm. So you had 3 years of getting to know and like Lando in the comic book, and then and this is pre novels and video games and all that. So if you wanted more Star Wars, you read the comics. That's it. So that's that.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm still, I mean, again, we're like a different generation watching it with different feelings and attachments to different things. But it's interesting for me, I'll speak for myself, just to sort of see the threads, just because I like movie making. I like hearing about how the sausage is made. So it's kind of interesting, and I can, pull on some of the threads and be like, well, that doesn't da-da-da-da-da. But ultimately, at the end of the day, who cares? I'm looking forward to seeing another Star Wars movie. I'm looking forward to seeing how they wrap up this trilogy. And I hope that this is a trilogy that is beloved, by the people, who beloved it.
And I'm fairly certain it will be.
Yeah.
I'm confident of that, because the kids who are just watching them are going to just take them in, and they're going to be, it's in the mix. It's the saga. It's not going to be, you're not going to have the whole, all the anticipation of after this many decades. It's just, no, we watch Star Wars. We watch all these 9 movies. We watch them. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is,
Yeah.
And that's good. I'm glad about that.
Yeah. I want them to, even though, it feels different. We're in a new era of Star Wars, but that doesn't mean I don't still love the universe. And I look forward to The Mandalorian and all the different ways that they find their way, new stories in this universe.
And by the way, last time we talked about that little sizzle reel that they played at D23 for The Rise of Skywalker. Mm-hmm. And we completely glossed over the fact that at the very end, as the the title comes up, we hear Darth Vader's breathing.
Which you mentioned to me in a text, and I had to confess that I didn't even remember that.
Did you have you revisited it?
I have not. No.
It's clear as day. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Right? And so this goes, I think I said this previously, that if they revealed already that Palpatine is back, there's something else they're holding in reserve, and I am 100% certain it involves Anakin or Darth Vader.
Yeah, I mean, that's not just something you throw in there willy-nilly. So, something there.
I think the fact that Hayden Christensen has been really visible in connection to Star Wars in a way he hadn't been for a long time.
Yeah.
Tells me if I were to guess, I think Force Ghost Anakin is going to be a factor in this.
Yeah. Especially with all this talk about this being the end of a 9-movie story, and John Williams and J.J. Abrams have talked about putting a bow on this. I don't know how you don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing, actually, while we were talking about Qui-Gon Jinn, if they don't use the opportunity of this Obi-Wan Kenobi series to bring back Liam Neeson...
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. I would love that.
Oh,
have sort of those Luke and Obi-Wan moments.
Right?
That have Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon
that would
walking
be so
through
cool.
the desert. That would be awesome.
And the beauty of it, Brian, is they've already set it up, because Episode 3 ends with Yoda telling Obi-Wan, I want you to connect with your old master.
Yeah.
The breadcrumbs are already there.
Yeah. Good call.
They better make that happen. So, all right. Well, that covers. We covered a lot of ground, but we've got a big movie to discuss. So why don't we take one last break, and then we'll come back and we will talk about Chapter 2 of It.
Can't wait.
All right, so we're back, and I have seen It.
I have seen It also.
Can I just tell you? So we're recording this. This is a Friday morning after the movie is opened, and I went and watched this last night.
Okay.
So I teach class until 9:45.
Yeah.
So right after my class was done, I went to the theater and caught a 10 o'clock show.
Oof.
Of this 3-hour movie.
3-hour movie, yes.
3 hour. You know why? Because I'm dedicated to putting out the best show we can. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't like using the word hero. I gotta tell you, I am a goddamn hero.
I'm impressed. 10 p.m. That's, yeah. I mean, Zach, you said, I mean, it's 2 hours and 50 minutes. So
yes.
let's just call it 3 hours.
Yes. And then you factor in trailers and stuff. You're looking at close to 3.5 hours, right?
I did not even think about it. Was it at an AMC?
It was at a Century.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you saw like a press screening.
Yes.
So,
no ads. I did not see that. What do you call it? Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah, the trailer for the Birds of Prey, or the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Right, which was supposed to only play in theaters. This was never going to end up online.
Yeah.
However, I did watch it after it ended up online.
Yes. I mean, and it was like official.
Oh, was it really? Did they just give up?
Yeah, they gave up. They surrendered beforehand.
They folded faster than Superman on Laundry Day.
That's good. That's good. Dad jokes. Come here for your dad jokes. Brian's not even a dad yet. He's already got the jokes.
I just gotta practice.
All right, let's talk about it. So I have not read any reviews.
Okay.
I've avoided everything. Why? Because I was like, I'm going to go in with clear eyes, full heart, whatever. Blank slate. And as soon as it ended, I was like, I cannot wait to discuss this movie.
Me too. I have a lot of thoughts.
So it chapter one. You know what's funny is I don't remember what we said about the first one. And normally when we're going to talk about a sequel, I like to go back and listen to what we said. I just didn't have time, so I don't remember. But I think we both were like, "Oh, it was good."
Yeah, it was like horror Goonies,
yeah.
right? And that sounds like something both you and I would like.
Like I don't know that either of us was like over the moon about it.
Exactly. I think yes, exactly that. I think we found a lot to like in it, but overall we're like, it's probably for someone else, but we found things to enjoy about it.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so
I'm guessing that's what we said.
Yeah, no, that sounds familiar. So this is obviously the first one comes out very, very successful, and they move to make the sequel. Everyone comes back on the creative side. Andy Muschietti, as I call him. I think it's Andy Muschietti.
That's funny.
But I just call him Muschietti because I find that funny. He is directing. He directing, yo. It's early. I'm tired. I'm so tired, Brian. But great cast. We got a new cast. All the losers have been recast. Mm-hmm. And
because now we're seeing 27 years later.
27 years later. So it is set in 2016. Mm-hmm. Do you want to just like get into your non-spoiler thoughts?
Yeah. So obviously this is based on a very famous Stephen King book, and I have not read it. So I feel like this all needs to be reiterated. I have not read the book, and I have not seen the TV miniseries that I know
really?
many people have seen. Yeah.
That's right. You have not seen it. Okay.
So when part one ended, I was intrigued. Like I was ready to go. I wanted to see where this was going. And so it was interesting coming back. I haven't revisited the first one, but I remember, having kind of a favorable, not necessarily my genre, but they did a good job of making me care about the kids. And
Brian,
yeah,
you said you haven't revisited the first one, and I'm the same.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, I think I'm good.
Yeah, no. I mean,
you have a similar.
Yeah, once was fine for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like I said, I mean, the kids were charming and fun, and the sense of discovery. Like, I don't know what this clown is, and what are its rules. And I think actually now this is coming back to me. I think they didn't really get into rules, and that kind of frustrated me. But I was intrigued to find out, right? And
right.
I feel like now coming into the second one, I think we lose something a little bit with them being adults. It's kind of the charm and the fun and the exuberance that came with the kids is gone. The mystery is a little bit gone. Like now we're just, okay, this is the mission to defeat the thing. Yes. And that's fine. Like that's fine. That's what this is. I mean, this isn't a whole other movie. This is a continuation of what we've already started. But at the same time, I found it to be sort of a weird structure that became very repetitive.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So this is a 3-hour movie, and I feel like each hour was an act. Mm-hmm. So the first act was we got to get the gang back together. So there's one character who stayed in Derry and knows that all this madness is about to go down, so he's got to recruit all the kids. So this happens in every movie. There's a call to adventure, and then the hero has to refuse the call, and then they get talked into doing it. But the thing is we do that 6 times.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Each character gets called to action.
Right.
They don't want to do it, and then they go. And that's fine. That has to happen. But I was just sort of amazed that it took an hour to do it.
and then we repeat that sequence in the next act.
Well, so then the second act becomes, okay, to defeat this thing, we need like an item.
Yep.
So then instead of, and I'm sure this is true to the book, but what happens is you have each person split off. So again, we've got like 6 different people having to go find an item, and it becomes find the item. But when you find the item, this it thing is going to mess with you and scare you, and then you have to overcome it and get away. But then they repeat it. It's like wash, rinse, repeat.
Yep.
For each character for an hour. So it became, when it was like the 4th character finding their totem, I was like, how's it going to appear this time?
Yep. Yep.
And then they're going to get away because there's a 3rd act to this movie, which I looked down at my watch at one point when I thought the movie was about to wrap up or there'd be like 30 minutes left, and there was an hour left. And I thought, oh, wow, how are they going to get a whole hour out of defeating this thing?
Yeah.
And I will say, like, I did enjoy, we'll get into this in spoilers, but the third act was fine. But everything I've just said, plus I just feel like they spent so much time on the mechanics of what needed to happen that they didn't spend enough time making me endeared to any of these people or care about their personal situations. They sort of introduce you a little bit to personal situations, especially Bev at the beginning, but none of it pays off or comes back. And so I found myself like kind of at a distance with each of them.
So this is interesting, Brian, because what you're saying specifically as it pertains to Bev and Bill,
yes,
in both the book and the miniseries, their personal life comes into play in Act 3.
Yes. Yeah, they spend the most time introducing their personal lives in the first act of this current iteration, but none of it comes back into play.
Yes. So that... Now, I haven't seen the TV miniseries since 1990, but I remembered that.
Okay. Yeah. I can imagine that. I can picture that. And the thing is in some ways you could almost forgive it because there's so many characters and there's so much to do. But on the other hand, this movie is 15 minutes shorter than Titanic. So it feels like there has to be space, right?
Well, and I think Bev, her character has enough other stuff going on where it still works for her. But I mean, Bill is like a side character in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they so and this isn't a spoiler because it's what happens in the book. His wife becomes a prisoner of it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right? And by removing that, you remove a really key aspect of his arc.
That I would have really loved that.
Yeah.
And there's, again, I won't get into spoilers, but he sort of interacts with a boy in the town and becomes compelled to protect this boy.
Yeah.
And was that, well, I don't know if you know, but was that a replacement?
That's a replacement, yeah.
Oh, that's, which I didn't mind,
No.
but, and they try to make the boy remind him of his little brother that he didn't save or couldn't save in the first one, but I feel like there might have been something more if they'd kept that wife subplot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, in the miniseries, I haven't read the book, I can't speak to that, but in the miniseries, his wife is kidnapped by it, and she sees the deadlights, and so she's catatonic.
Okay, much like Bev in the first one.
Exactly, and so after the plot wraps up, we still have Bill trying to get his, it's like his goal now. He's trying to, get his wife whole again, and that arc reaches completion. And I still have very clear memories of how the TV miniseries wrapped that up. But definitely when this ended, I was like, well, you needed something like that, because he is supposed to be the leader of the losers,
right?
Right.
And it occurred to me too. I mean, as an adult, like the way that they're called to action at the beginning, like, hey, drop everything you're doing and come to your hometown. Very little explanation, but just do it. And they're like, everyone's like, okay. Yeah. And they just do. And I was wondering about their families.
Yes.
Like what they were thinking, or like, where did dad go? So that makes sense to have that come into play a little bit.
Well, and certainly with Bill, where he's on a film set, he's writing, and they're like, we need rewrite. That was Peter Bogdanovich, by the way. Did you notice the cameo?
Yeah.
He's the film director. That having that introduced as something that's pressing, and then there's no conversation about how can you be leaving right now? What do you like that stuff? That seems like basic dramaturgy where you want that to establish some kind of conflict, and even put like a ticking clock on it. Yeah,
I agree. So I want to get more into your opinion because I don't think you've straight said your opinion yet. But I'll just wrap it up by saying I feel like there were things that I enjoyed in it, but I feel the lack of like even like sort of a theme about what it all means and backstory to some of these characters made it feel more like a cinematic haunted house where I was going from room to room. Just kept it from feeling like a complete movie-going experience for me. So I was like, yeah, I get if you read the book and it's kind of cool seeing it all come to life, you probably get more out of it than I did. But ultimately, I found it wanting a little bit.
I would say I think I liked it slightly more than you, but not in the like it's to me. I was like, all right, it's the conclusion of the story.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I didn't view it as its own thing. I was like, well, forever you're gonna watch part 1 and part 2 together.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
So that I was like, well, this is like a cinematic miniseries.
That's a good point. That's a
Right.
good point.
And so I was like, when you frame it that way, it probably works a little better.
Yeah.
And that's literally like as I was watching it, I was like, well, from now on, you're gonna watch this either in one sitting or in like hour-long chunks over the course of like a week. You know?
Yeah. Or even over 2 nights.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Yeah.
So when you look at it that way, it's like, well, some of that stuff doesn't matter as much. The stuff that worked, first of all, the casting was top notch.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
All
for
the
sure.
all the losers.
Yeah.
I was amazed how the guy who plays Ben looks like the kid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The guy who plays Eddie looks like the kid.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Hader is a rock star in this movie.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen him in dramatic stuff, and you've said Barry's really good, which I haven't seen. I was honestly blown away by how good he was in this.
Yeah. No, I agree. And he adds like a lot of necessary levity.
Yes,
I
but it's
will
like,
say
it's like the right amount of levity.
I was gonna say it edged a little too much for me at times because anytime it cut to him, I was like, "Oh, joke," and I was kind of wanted some serious moments to be like, "Oh, like we're screwed."
But it suited the character. See, that's it. To me,
That's
that
true.
that's what he would do. He's scared out of his mind, and he says like a stupid joke.
Yeah, no, that's true. And then
Yeah.
they have the like beep beep Richie, like stop talking now.
Yeah, yeah, you know.
So that was funny. Yeah.
I think that the arc that they gave him, I had to look this up. Like they give his character specific business.
Yeah. Oh,
which
yeah.
is-
Yeah. I forgot we're pre-spoilers.
yeah. Well, do we want to get into it? I guess.
Yeah. Let's do it.
You know, I think I've conveyed what I thought. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. Past this point are spoilers. So like they added a whole thing where Richie is in the closet.
Right.
Which again, after I got out, I looked that up. I was like, is that from the book? It's definitely not in the miniseries.
Yeah.
And I was reading about, because the film starts with this two victims of a hate crime, two gay victims of a hate crime, and that is in the book.
Right.
That is from the book. And I guess people have gone after Stephen King for not having gay characters or whatever. So I think the filmmakers adding this element of Richie being gay and having to come to terms with that, I think it works for as like a bookend for when you start out with this, it's it kills a gay person and then it is killed by a gay person.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I didn't even put that together.
Right.
Yeah.
I found it weird that he had been in love with Eddie the whole time.
I found it confusing.
Yes. That
Because
didn't make sense to me.
No. And I wasn't even sure I was interpreting that correctly. Mostly because they introduce the idea of him being closeted as a boy with another character.
That's exactly right.
Right. So and then when he was, so wait, when he's carving that thing into the bridge, had he not completed it, or had he? Sorry, I realize what I'm saying is like just fuzzy memory that everyone's gonna be like, Brian. But I remember it showed him carving. Oh, okay, I get it. He started carving it, but we didn't see what he finished it with.
Yes.
And then as an adult, we see him re-etch the E.
So when we see him as a kid carving that, I was like, I'll bet you it's going to be E.
I see, yes.
But to me, like, that doesn't make sense. It makes more sense to me that maybe as an adult he realizes he was in love with Eddie. Do you see what I'm saying?
I agree with that. Yes.
Because I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? By what basis, as a kid, their relation? There's nothing in their relationship when they're kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they would. You would think that moment might have happened in the arcade between the two of them, and he's kind of putting it out there, and then the kid doesn't get it, and he's a little sad about it.
Right.
Right. And then you could have him sort of come to that reconciliation or epiphany or whatever you want to call it as an adult.
Yes, I agree with that. So that's that, but that's like, I mean, big picture, I guess that doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, but that is the stuff that I would have liked, like I was saying, a bit more of.
Yeah.
A little more getting into the characters and their psychology and what they're bringing into this battle against fear.
Right.
You know?
Yes. So now the movie makes a whole thing about, like, it's poking fun at Stephen King by
repeatedly, yes.
because you know, King takes a lot of grief for not having good endings.
Yeah.
Right, and Bill is he's a proxy for King, who is in the film, by the way.
Yes, yeah, he plays a shop owner,
and he plays the type of character that King has encountered, where the guy's like, you can afford it.
Oh, right. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, because Bill is trying to buy his childhood bike, and the guy's like, that bike used to belong to me. I'd like to buy it. He's like, okay, $90, you know?
Yeah, right.
$300. You can afford it, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that the movie doesn't really stick the landing, in my opinion. As far as
the third act,
as far as dispensing with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how so?
Because it's essentially like, we just have to tell it. We don't think we think clowns suck. Like, right? You suck. You really suck. You really, really suck.
Right?
You know? Like,
yeah.
Is that it? Why didn't you do that 30 years ago? You know.
And wasn't that? I may be mistaken because I've only saw the first one once, but didn't they kind of figure that out in the first one? That they just had to not be afraid, and that was what kept it at bay.
Yeah, something like that.
On the other hand, I think they do address the fact that when they return to Derry, they've forgotten most of this.
Yes.
Like, it's sort of fuzzy in their memories, and they need to remember it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I remember, my one of my clearest memories. It's funny, you know, because it's very apropos. Because the movie, it's like you go through this experience and then you forget all about it, and then you come back to Derry and it starts coming back. That's me having watched the miniseries.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh wait, I remember this. Oh, I remember that. You know, so like, I was like, oh, I remember Eddie's about to die, and then he dies. You know.
Right. Oh.
I think that one of my clearest memories of the miniseries is the ending sucked.
I even knew that, and I've never seen it. I knew that everybody hated the ending of this movie, so I was kind of curious what they were going to do differently. I know people didn't like the fact that he turned into a giant spider or something.
Yes,
which he does in this movie.
He does, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought the way they dispense with it. You know, it's weird because it felt very like the town was completely unaware of it.
I had this written down. Yeah, I wanted you to finish your thought, but I had something to say about this.
That was I was like, there needs to be some kind of scale to this, where, like, if the losers don't do this, something really bad is about to happen.
I entirely agree. I felt like this 5-hour epic was totally on the outskirts of this town, so no one knew it was happening. No one sensed that anything bad was going on. They totally went through this like apocalyptic fight, and then they left, and no one's the wiser.
Yeah, I mean, because okay, so we get you know, that Adrian is killed in the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. There's that little girl who gets killed in the middle.
Yeah.
I think that kid gets killed who McAvoy's trying to save.
In the funhouse?
Yeah, I think he is, right?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay. So before we even get to the funhouse, like, why isn't the town in a panic because of this little girl?
This girl murdered, beneath at a football game. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Like, so I mean, with our characters in the town, they either interact with these local weirdos like Stephen King, or they interact with it. Mm-hmm. But there's no broader sense of like the people being affected by this.
I'm looking at my own notes, and I have the word affected written down.
Well, this is why we
Yeah.
do this, Brian.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is I think the movie still works as a fun house, as a haunted house.
Yeah.
You know? But I feel like it could have been all the more richer if they had delved into this stuff a bit more than repeating some of the scare sort of stuff.
That was the thing. Okay, so we go through the, like, just harking back to what you said. Like, we go through the sequence of phone call, and it's like, okay, well, we got to do that because that's
Yeah. It has to be done.
we have to get caught up with everybody this many years later. Fine, but the retrieving their whatever the
Token, I think they call it.
the token or their artifact, right? I was like, why not crosscut?
Yeah.
Why, right? Because it's like these.
Yeah, and yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I'm just like it's like these little episodes.
Yes.
You know, so you're kind of like, well, what's everyone else doing while this is going on? You know?
Yeah. And I think this was a choice, and like I said, I'm going to be a bit more careful about how I talk about CGI. But I feel like a lot of the scares just felt like these sort of, like they did a great job. I mean, I was scared when Bev was in that apartment. Like the tension, that woman, her acting is so good.
Yes.
You know, the way what she's doing with her eyes and her smile,
creepy.
and then when her, what?
Creepy.
She is so good. And then when you see out of focus in the background, she's all of a sudden naked, just like walking through that kitchen. I was like, ah!
Yeah.
But then she just kind of becomes this kind of corny
This
CG creation.
Googly-eyed monster.
Yeah, and then some. Even with it, sometimes like it'll push in on his face, and he's doing enough acting to make me unnerved. But then they'll do this like kind of corny CG, like make his face droop, but it doesn't even look like how a face's
Yes.
skeletal structure would group. Like it just is like they added like an effect to it that you probably could have on your phone, like stretch the face effect. And I was like, oh, you just kind of cheapened it.
Yeah.
So like some of the scares became lazy, or the movie has it's shot so well. It looks like a really artistically made film, but then it feels like they sort of skimped out on the peak of the scares. You know?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think as a result, it does become a little bit of a CGI wonderland at the end.
Yeah, and by the way, I do feel like I want to say this. I don't think it's that CGI was bad. It was a visual choice. Like it was a vision decision by the director.
Yes.
And I feel like it didn't hook up with the, I don't know, the pastiche or patina or what do you want to call it of the film. You know, like it's sort of it felt like a different sort of movie's effect.
Yeah,
in this
Brian,
movie.
I mean, if maybe this might be a comparison that works for you. I mean, those moments, not including Act 3, like Act 2, the searches for the artifacts, that you wanted it to be. Here's a sentence I never thought I'd say. You wanted it to be more sort of Shyamalan-y.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah. No, I do agree.
I mean that scene with the old lady, that's right out of Shyamalan.
Oh, absolutely.
Before the googly-eyed thing.
And I don't even care that she became a monster. I think you could still do that. And I think you could blend. I mean, I think of how horrifying still at the end of Last Crusade when Donovan drinks the Grail and he's like that ghoulish looking thing.
Right.
And you can enhance it with some CGI, but just make it still feel like it's in the same room with the person.
This cartoon, though.
She became a cartoon, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the stuff that works for me makes the film worthy of recommendation, where it's like, well, if you saw the first part and you liked it, I don't see any reason why you won't at least enjoy or be satisfied with the way they wrap it up.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And before we get past it, I do want to say with the whole town thing, because I remember that was an element in the first movie where they're like, this town's just haunted. Like,
Yes.
the people here are weird. The adults act really weird. That's why actually I was a little confused when the man was killed at the beginning, because I thought it only messed with kids. And I thought the adults were sort of sinister in the town by whatever sort of awful presence is sort of looming beneath the whole place. And I sort of wanted to get into that. Like, this town is cursed and we have to fix the curse on this town. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you. I mean, by virtue of the fact that they come back, like I remember our conversation specifically being. I remember I said I liked how there are these kids and you know. Only the kids are aware of this thing that's going on, and the adults are oblivious. Because I'm like, that's what it's like when you're a kid. Like, no one listens to you, and everyone just ignores you. You know. Mm-hmm. And so I going in, I was like, I thought it'd be intriguing to be like, how did they now, as adults who can interact with the adults, how are they going to plug into it? But it didn't really get into that. It felt very insulated.
Yeah, I think that actually pretty much encapsulates why I didn't mind watching it at all, and like I did enjoy being scared, but I felt this sort of hole was there where it just felt like exactly what you said. I mean, how do kids approach this problem? Then how do these adults who have their own issues approach this problem? It felt like it was just ripe for like a meaning. Like, what does this all mean?
Yeah.
You know, and what they've learned over the years and them overcoming their fears. And I would have liked maybe a little bit more of a bow on the meaning of it all.
Yes.
But on the other hand, maybe I'm thinking too much. I mean, maybe this is just supposed to be fun and, you know, fighting a monster. So I do want to get really quick. It's funny. I've seen this in a couple of reviews, people not liking the whole way that they defeat it. I don't know. I think if it had been handled differently, it could have seemed really corny, and maybe to some people it did, but I didn't mind it, actually. I didn't mind the way it was shrinking down, and it looked kind of... This thing that was this enormous spider suddenly becomes this, like, puddle on the ground, basically.
I like the way they visualized it. I just don't understand how we got there. Like, that just feels weird to me.
Yeah.
Like,
which reminds me... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just to finish that thought. I think... Here's the problem, Brian. We don't know who Pennywise is.
I so wanted to get in it. They hint at it, but they don't go there.
So if they're coming from a place of we know who you really are, you're this. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like getting into his history, like you know something, right? Where you think you're actually just this, and he shrinks, and you're nothing but this, right? That to me would feel more earned. Because they've done something. They come armed with knowledge.
Yes.
And what defeats fear? Wisdom.
Yeah. And they defeat him and then make him into his true form. Because the clown is meant... That's a facade to scare children.
Right.
But it's like they could have turned him into like the little bug that he actually is or something.
Yeah. Come on, Paschetti.
But you know, there was a moment where they were doing the ritual... And they're like all holding hands, and these lights are going everywhere, and there's strobe light, and the music is like, whoa, like this really loud scene. And I just in that moment, I thought it'd be really funny if they cut to one of their families, and they're like, "What do you think Dad's up to?" And then like some kid's like, who cares? And like flips the channel on a TV, and then just cut back to the lightning and the. That's why I don't make these movies, because that's what I would do.
I think you should. I think you just made the argument for why you should, to be honest. There's the moment at the end where they're adults and you see them all standing there and they're like, guys, look, or something like that, and it pans over and you see them reflected, but as kids.
Yes.
Just this is how my brain works. I was just like, it'd be funny if we see them. Do you remember the end of Ghostbusters 2?
Yes, the painting.
The painting.
Yes.
I was like, I just thought it'd be really funny if it's like a painting of the losers in like Greek robes holding a baby. Right. That's just how my mind works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going back to the way the original version ends, and this is in the book from what I've read. So Bev's husband shows up
Okay.
trying to get her back, okay? And it brainwashes him and is like, bring me Bill's wife.
Okay.
So I think his name is Tom, the husband. He like sees its true form. I think he like kills himself. And Audra then is rendered catatonic by the deadlights. So everyone else leaves Derry except Bill, who's trying to get his wife to come out of this catatonia. And then it ends with her. She ends up coming out of it.
Okay.
And actually, in the miniseries and the book, it ends with them same thing. They leave Derry and they forget all about it.
Which I don't mind. I kind of like that. There's something like a wistfulness to that.
Yeah, but whereas in the film, it's like, well, now that the curse is broken, we will always remember and we'll always be, close or whatever.
And I don't mind that either.
That's fine too. I will say this: at the end, when Mike calls Bill, and I don't remember if Mike says it to Bill or Bill, but he's like, "I love you," right? Mm-hmm. I was like I liked that.
Me too. I thought that was really sweet.
Right. So I would say overall for me it's a thumbs up, with some qualifications.
I think I'm there with you, just a little bit less, but
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think it's certainly worth finishing, and
Yeah.
I realize that the whole time I've been talking about this, I haven't been talking about the positives much. I've been talking about the things that left me wanting a little, but the performances are great. The humor is pretty funny. The scares are, for the most part, like the tension leading up to them is a lot of fun. I think.
That, by the way, the scene, the Chinese restaurant scene was great.
Yeah. Wait, the reunion or the horror at the end?
Both, everything.
Yeah. And then the moment with Richie and that little boy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? That was really funny.
I think that scene did so much right from beginning to end. We buy the reunion.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I'm watching and I'm like, I feel that reunion. I'm like, oh, it's so good to see all these guys together again, right? Mm-hmm. Even though we've actually never seen them together.
Yeah.
Right?
The adults, you mean? Like in adult form?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
I liked that. And then I thought the scares worked. I thought it was legitimately scary.
Yeah, it's creepy. Along those lines, I enjoyed the moment in the little clubhouse below ground too, where they had when they flash back to the kids and they had the shower caps on. I thought that was all really sweet. Like you really buy their friendship.
I agree. Well, and it was a good way of keeping Stan in the narrative.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, since he kills himself right at the beginning.
Yeah, because the miniseries cuts back and forth.
Oh, between the 20-some years?
Yeah, it's told non-linearly.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't remember how that works. Like, if Stan dies early on, like, I don't remember how we get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with this one, it's like, well, they had to keep him part of it somehow, so they found interesting ways of doing that. I thought the letter at the end, like, that worked for me.
Yeah.
As a way of
like
he was part of their victory.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and it was so sad that he took himself off the board. That made me really sad.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an addition that the movie made, and if structurally, I like that idea that, I mean, obviously suicide is awful, but
yeah,
rather than make it like, oh, he was too scared to join them, it's like you turn it into something where he's part of the whatever success they achieved.
Yeah, I thinking of it that way, you're totally right.
Yeah,
they tried to give some. I don't know, agency. I don't know if that's the right word, but meaning or something.
Some meaning, yeah.
Contribution, which sounds terrible to say that.
Right. I mean, in
What
the
he
context
did.
of suicide, obviously we recognize that's.
I just mean in the context of this story.
in the story, right? We're not romanticizing suicide at all.
Yes, no. Very, very much don't want to do that. But
wow.
yeah, if I could have scaled back a little bit of some of the repetitiveness and filled a little bit more texture to some of this stuff in the town and in the whatever, I think this would have been like a solid thumbs up from me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not a bad time. Like it's a rousing conclusion to a movie that I may have the first part, which I may have enjoyed a little more.
I definitely agree with what you just said about enjoying the first one more. I think I really feel like if Act 2 involved cross cutting, it would have felt it would have felt pacier, you know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I can't imagine that they didn't try that. You know?
I'm sure. I'm sure this must have been a lot of work.
Yeah.
Putting all this together, yeah.
I mean, cross-cutting between 7 different things was probably not easy.
What's going on, yeah.
Yeah, so that might factor in. Solid performances, though. I think it's, again, if you like the first one, I think there's enough here to make the second one satisfying. That's my review.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Hey. Well, we covered a lot of ground. It's funny that we did sort of end up making the same observations.
You know what? And what I love about this too is sometimes we'll watch a movie and I'll be like Hobbs and Shaw, and you're just like, eh. Like there's some things to say, and then what else is there to say? But what I liked about this movie is when I walked out, like I was just brimming with thoughts, and I was really excited to chat about these things, and I really enjoyed hearing your thoughts. Like it's cool when a movie can do that. It makes you think a lot of things, and you're like, that was good. You're like, well, I don't know, this could have been this, and that's a fun time at the movies.
I totally
something
agree.
that gets your imagination going.
And that's what this podcast is all about.
Hey, we did it. Now we can disappear and turn into smoke and let this rest. We can finally rest Saki.
We will disappear, but there will be a painting of us in Roman robes just left behind. All right, well, that wraps up our It discussion. But hey, we got a bonus episode of the Movie Film Show dropping very shortly, where Brian and I look back at the summer movie season that just ended. That is, of course, a tradition on this show, and we did not want to let that pass us by.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Just taking a look back.
Yeah, so you can listen to that. Also coming up later this month, we have our commentary track. Our next commentary track will be for First Blood.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Last Blood, Rambo Last Blood is coming out later this month, so we want to precede that by taking a look back at First Blood, which I know Brian knows this, and probably you guys listening know it is one of my very favorite action movies. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
With that in mind, if you are looking for us outside of this show, Brian, where can people find you?
I'm still writing for Puppy Dog Pals, which airs on Disney and Disney Junior.
Very nice. And as for me, you can find me at my website, Zaki'sCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter. That's also my Instagram. You can also find my movie reviews and essays up at the San Francisco Chronicle. I'm also writing for Birth Movies Death. I have a new piece up, speaking of Rambo, at Birth Movies Death, talking about the movie Rambo 3. So I'm in Rambo heaven. I'm getting Ramboned. Wait, ew. That didn't come out the way I wanted. But we'll be back soon with our next regular episode as well as our next commentary. So with that in mind, we hope you'll join us. Please go to iTunes, leave a review, leave a star rating. Let us know what you think of the show. You can also email us, moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com, or message us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. Make sure you hit like there. And on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been Movie Film 180, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. The Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian.